Welcome to Life with the Spectrum. I'm Gina Cavalli, and the more I speak with people, the more I hear and feel the sense of urgency to help our youth and young adults transition into the next phase of their life. Finding and keeping a job, navigating the way after just coming off of all of these waivers, now needing Medicaid or other different types of services. The family supports that may or may not be in place. There's just some of the many things that are affecting our young adults' chances to succeed. The Bobby Dodd Institute right here in Atlanta helps with all of this and so much more. Please welcome Todd Herman, Vice President of Development and Communications over at the Bobby Dodd Institute. Hi, Todd.
Hi, Gina. Thank you so much for having me as a guest.
Oh, thank you for being on. I love how BDI, we're going to call Bobby Dodd Institute BDI. I love how you're navigators, allies, partners, advocates for people with disabilities. Can you explain some of the kinds of programs people can expect when they start to look at BDI?
Sure. Let's just take a step back. BDI's mission, it's all about empowering people with differing abilities to maximize their potential. So whether that means securing economic self-sufficiency, independence, or even inclusion with their communities, we really are a beacon of hope and possibilities for families that are in need. In terms of what we do, as you said, Gina, we are very excited and we're thrilled that we can offer such a wide array of programs for those we serve. So whether it's to empower people to be their own self-advocates, whether it's to help individuals find a job, whether it's to help the family unit in terms of that support that they need, or because people use multiple services, it's to give caregivers the support they need for when they transition on and their loved ones need to be self-sufficient or need to take that next generational step in being independent. We have programs for all stages and areas of life. So we meet people whether they are in the process of dealing things that are endangering survival, quite honestly, to more of providing stability, and then helping people finding success in whatever that looks like on their life journey.
Is that could that be part of the Bridge Academy that you have going on? I know that's a 20-week course that helps people gain employment and see wage increases based on that employment.
Yes. So thank you for bringing that up. We just launched the Bridge Academy, and while it's new to the Atlanta area, the Bridge Academy premise has actually been done in several countries throughout the world, and they've graduated over 300 students from the program who have gone on to then be employed in IT jobs. So we're starting it in Atlanta. We have our first cohort that is just launched. But to your point, what it's going to enable individuals to do is after 20 weeks be certified as Cisco technicians. And then we have employers lined up on the other side to provide jobs. And the starting wage for Cisco technicians is around $45,000. So it really gets into that living wage segment that is so important. And we do provide then supportive employment after that. And we've engaged another nonprofit called Watering Seeds. I just love that name. But they are going to provide the on-the-job support for another 12 to 18 months, which we know is so important.
It's important to have in place.
Yes. And having some experience in the IT field, especially on helping to develop the program within a previous life, I know that first 90 days is so important, because within that first 90 days, that's when that cataclysmic shift, right, from being unemployed to employed, and you're dealing with all sorts of things like the steady paycheck and the routine of work, whatever that looks like in our hybrid world, right? And then within that first 90 days, there is usually some sort of workplace conflict that arises, whether that's with teammates or whether it's just, as I said, the routine of the work, or whether it's the engagement in team discussions or working and collaborating on projects. So to have that part of the path taken care of, I think is just, it's going to really be an important important part of the success of Bridge Academy.
I think this is awesome. Is the Bridge Academy offered at all 3 area campuses for Bobby Dodd Institute?
It is being offered at our main campus, but what's interesting about the Bridge Academy, it is a hybrid learning situation. So for the most part, the majority of the learning will be online, and then there will be a day where the students will come in to our location and get that hands-on training. Because obviously they're going to be doing some help desk work when they're employed, but there's going to be a need for hands-on work with components and equipment.
I love the sound of this Bridge Academy. When we get back with Todd Herman, Vice President of Development and Community Relations at BDI, we're going to find out, what does that family support look like? Stay with me.
Hi, I'm Lear Gilmars. Thanks to our friends at
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. Sitting with me today, Todd Herman, Vice President of Development and Community Relationships over at BDI. Todd, we mentioned family support. We have close to 200,000 people with aging parents right now. What kind of family support does that look like, starting from early intervention all the way up to being an adult and really being forced to live on your own at some point?
So that's a good question, Gina. It really looks different based on the individual, the family unit, and what their needs are. We try to meet people where we are. So the family support could take the face of individuals needing, help just getting to doctor's appointments. All right, so just needing even a MARTA pass in order to help with the transportation needs. It could mean help within the home. There was a family recently, it was a single mom, and she had 3 kids in the house, all at different stages of their education. But she was also working 40, 50 hours a week. And so what was needed was some help with systems in the home to engage her kids in terms of helping out around the house, but also just some organization and helping them set up a routine so the mom didn't always feel like she was behind racing to the next emergency.
Yeah.
And you know what? That provided some stability. Some sanity
Sure.
as well. It's just amazing how the family dynamic changed.
I love the fact that BDI, it sounds like through family support, you really are not just setting up the individual to succeed, right? Putting all of those places or all of those special things in place, I should say, but you're setting up the whole family to succeed. And that's a big component to just living in general. You want to set people up for succession, right? You want to see them do the very best that they can. So it's nice to know that some of these family supports are in place. What else is going on over at BDI? I know that you have some fundraisers and things like that, and GAL is coming up in March, right?
Yes. We have our flagship fundraiser, which is Breakfast with Champions. I believe this is the 22nd year of the event, and it's just a wonderful legacy event for the organization. We have 4 luminaries, so we really focus and try to identify individuals or companies that are furthering BDI's mission. This could be a participant in one of BDI's programs who is completed certain steps along their life path, their life map, so to speak. It could be somebody who we've placed into employment and is just, rising up in their organization, hitting milestones, known as a successful employee. It could mean organizations, companies that are helping us with employment placements or helping fulfill the mission and supporting our programmatic needs, whatever it might be. But this year we have 4 just incredible luminaries, and the event takes place at the end of March, as you mentioned, at Cobb Energy Center. We usually have about 300 plus people who get up nice and early and join us for a program that begins at 8 o'clock. But it is true.
Coffee is free.
Yeah, all included in that respect. But I did want to touch on, you mentioned some of the things that we had going on. We are so excited that after steady growth with our benefits navigation program, which connects people to the benefits that they are entitled to. It really helps people through the government nuances, the paperwork. You're probably aware that there are 7,000 plus on a wait list for their state now comp waivers. So BDI helps minimize the need for hearings, and just helps with the confidence level that people need to have in order to get through all these government channels. But benefits navigation for the first 6 years or so really focused on 5 counties in the greater Atlanta area. Now we're expanding into Forsyth, into Cobb County. We're expanding hopefully statewide in the next 3 to 5 years.
Oh, good.
And we've served over 1,300 people and connected those people with benefits. And when I say connected with benefits, I mean this is a life-changing connection, in that once somebody gets their benefits, they usually utilize them for an average of 41 years. So you can imagine what that means to people.
Yeah, because these are people who either never had benefits, didn't know that they even qualified for them, certainly couldn't afford to pay like an attorney or someone else to do all of their work, all of this gruesome paperwork really at the end of the day. And for people on the spectrum or with other disabilities, I'm sorry, I've already checked out when it said name. You know what I mean? So to know that BDI is going in there and helping with this, it has to make your heart feel good, right?
It does. And the stories, I mean, we get so many testimonials from people. And it doesn't matter whether a family has means or doesn't. Right. Because trying to get through either the ramifications of government layers, it can be frustrating. Families have dropped out of that path because of the frustration. But if you're not connected with benefits, you're not going to know about them.
Right.
Doesn't matter how much in terms of resources you have to have that connection to the benefits, and that can be a real difficult path. It can take years. So we're thrilled to be able to offer that program and all of the resources coordination that we do. BDI has a pooled special needs trust that it can offer individuals who are looking at making sure that there is some kind of an estate or that their loved ones are going to be provided for. And that can be a very costly endeavor for people. I mean, going to the traditional path to a law firm to set up a trust, that can be thousands of dollars. And you have to have a certain amount of resources to set that up. And then there are the movement fees, right? So what BDI does is they pool all of the resources together so that the initial startup costs are a fraction of what it would demand in going to a law firm, and the maintenance fees are much less. And when we're talking about resources that families have, sometimes it's a life insurance policy that's not going to be activated, hopefully, for a good number of years. And so you don't want to have families paying maintenance costs on something like that when you don't know when it's going to be utilized, and that asset is going to become one that is then a lifesaver.
Just as there are so many layers to everyone's onion, it seems like the more we pull back on BDI, we see all of the different great things that this organization and foundation are doing. Stay with me, Todd, because I have some really great questions about what's ahead in 2023 for BDI. Stay with me.
I'm Lear Gillenwaters. Thanks for checking out this episode of Life with the Spectrum. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll always see the newest episodes when they come out.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. Sitting with me today, Todd Herman, the Vice President of Development and Community Relations over at the Bobby Dodd Institute. Todd, is there something going on that BDI is working on when it comes to possibly community development and housing plans for young adults who need that support, but as we mentioned earlier, living with aging parents, eventually those parents will no longer be with us, and then what happens?
So Gina, has been a conundrum for many years, and BDI has since its infancy, when we became a standalone organization in 1989, the focus has been in the workforce development.
Okay.
And then in 2018, we remerged with our former parent organization. That organization was all about developmental disabilities. And that's when we gained the wraparound services, the full trajectory of services that we now provide. However, as we talk with constituents and as we always ask what are their needs, it's been employment, of course. It's been transportation, which I think will always be a challenge in the greater Atlanta area. It's been benefits, coordination, consulting, navigation, and then it's been housing. Mm-hmm. And we were doing a project. We were collaborating with other nonprofits as well as employers on a project called Igniting the Inclusive Workforce. And one of our topics was housing. And in doing the work and putting together the program for that topic, we realized that there are some great housing opportunities for those with disabilities who are the neediest of the needy. All right, who live in dealing with the extremes. Yeah. However, for those that can live largely independently, who are in the workforce, but might need some minimal supports, nothing exists. And at least within the perimeter.
And here you have all of these buildings around Metro Atlanta that were vacated because of COVID, right? And all of this extra empty space. And I know we have partners with Coca-Cola. I mean, just some of the partners listed on the BDI website. I mean, is there any way that we can turn and burn some of these buildings into community living centers for young adults who do need that extra support, but definitely want to be independent? You know what I mean? Like, right. Where somebody can just check on them every day, make sure, I don't know.
So to your question before of what's upcoming for BDI, in addition to expansion of services, we are looking at a project that is going to grow our footprint in terms of services by about 2,000. So almost pretty much doubling our impact from 2,200 served to close to 5,000. And wow. What that is going to entail is looking at our current spaces. We have 3 main campuses, one in Atlanta off of Marietta Boulevard, one in Decatur that we inherited when we merged with AADD, and then one in Jonesboro that we acquired when BDI took on a program a few years back. However, the coordination of services and the fact that our campus in Atlanta, the building is over 50 years old. We utilized it as best we could, but we are realizing that really in order to grow and achieve our strategic goal impact of our strategic goal plan rather of doubling our impact, we need a new support center. And so we are looking at that piece. We have expanded, and we just hired a program director to head up our behavioral health initiative. We've also been adding programs like Getting Ready for Opportunities in Work, called the GROW program, where we're working with Georgia Vocational Rehab and the school districts in order to
then you have Bridge Academy.
Right, we have Bridge Academy. So we're really growing by leaps and bounds. And then with the housing space, BDI is looking at building an integrated mixed-use property right to the north of us, in which we would have available 40-plus units for people with a diagnosed disability, and it can run the gamut from those who are neurodiverse to veterans who have been diagnosed with PTSD, but individuals who can live largely independently, or they may have a living caregiver or an attendant, but who want to live on a property in a community which can be fully integrated, and in a lot of cases, BDI could have work opportunities. So there's, it could hit the three-legged stool of work, live, and play, right? And so
I love it.
Looking at that project to commence very soon, but I mean, that's a vision of 3 to 5 years down the line.
It's a great vision to have, and it's in eyesight. You know what I mean? You can see it, and I hope it comes to fruition. In fact, I recommend all businesses local to Georgia get behind this and show up for the fundraisers, donate on the website, do their part if they have extra. I mean, some of these people, I don't know about you, Todd, but some of these people have more money than they have sense, and they have property too. Why not donate some property? This is such a wonderful opportunity to help right here where it makes a difference. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And Gina, I do want to say that it's been overwhelming, the legacy of support that BDI has received in the community. Some of our funders, from foundations to corporations, it has helped us further the mission. While BDI is 98% of our revenue is earned, it's fee for service, which really provides just a level of stability that is an incredible model, and not one that I've encountered in my 20 plus years of working in the nonprofit space. It allows the funding to go directly towards BDI's mission.
How do people get in touch with BDI?
So there are a number of different ways, Gina. To get in touch with Bobby Dodd, you can go to our website at www.bobbydodd.org. And then people can also reach us via any of the social media channels. We are on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. And then people can also dial the office directly at 678-365-0071. And then any general inquiries through email, people can reach us at info@bobbydodd.org.
Todd Herman, the Vice President of Development and Community Relations at Bobby Dodd Institute. Thank you so much. I could talk to you forever. I mean, I know there are so many wonderful things happening. Thank you for sitting with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Gina. It's been a pleasure, and I thank you for everything you do.
The people over at Bobby Dodd are really true navigators, allies, partners, and advocates for people with disabilities. Make sure if you want to know anything about the funding or the costs involved for the services, you hop online to bobbydodd.org. I'm Gina here at Life with the Spectrum. As we continue to plug into shows and people making a difference, like, comment, share, subscribe below. If you know of an organization organization. And it doesn't have to be here in Atlanta. I mean, across the globe, if you know foundations, organizations, people, doctors making a difference, I need to know about them so that we can put them on the show and give them a spotlight. You can always reach out to me right here under the comments, or you can send me an email, gina@gcast.com, GKASTS.com. As we continue to live this crazy journey called life, we're going to continue to connect you with these people, resources, and tools as we continue to live life with the spectrum. See ya.
Bye.